I hope you all are doing well today. Hello, I hope you all are doing well today. This is going to be a quick one, a quick live. I don't know if I'm going to catch anybody this early, but this is just on my mind because I saw an older lady talking about this actually yesterday on her channel. It was very informative. It was a bit sad as well. She was probably in her 40s and her husband died, but her husband died without any life insurance. And unfortunately, they didn't have anything in place either for the child that was in her care, because it was his child, but the child was living with the both of them, and they didn't have anything in any orders or anything written, that would allow that child to stay with her if anything happened to him. So the child had to go back to his alcoholic mother and go back to that situation. So that just goes to show the importance of, having your paperwork in order. But I'm going to share a little bit of my story just to tell you all how important this is. Okay. First and foremost, I am a life insurance agent. I'm not an active one. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you from experience what I've been through and how important this is. All right. A lot of people go into poverty when the other parent passes away. Hey, Charity, great day. Or when the other spouse passes away, because there is no means to take care of the children, to take care of the finances, to continue to pay the mortgage, to continue to pay any, bills, utilities, car payments, and things like that. And that was this lady's situation. When her husband died, he handled the finances, so everything was in his name. The utilities, the house was in his name. She wasn't on the deed. And she ran into a lot of problems, and that's what we're trying to prevent. Now, I named this video, "Do you have insurance on your baby mama or your baby daddy?" I hate the term baby mama and baby daddy. All right, I just did that for the clicking purposes, to get the attention. The parent, other parent of your children, if at all possible, get life insurance on them. Now, in the insurance industry, there is something called insurable interest. Depending on the state you're in, you may not be able to get insurable interest because you're not married to that person. But if you're in a state that you can get insurance on the other parent, please do so. Please do so. Speak with them. If it's okay, of course you have to get their permission. You can't just go get insurance on somebody. They have to sign. If they're, in a right mind, you know what I'm saying? They have to sign. So they have to know. If they're okay with it, you all get along, you both agree, you both understand, please get insurance on each other. Now, I'm going to tell you about my situation. My oldest son's father died in a car accident when he was 30 years old. Okay? I did not have insurance on him. I was not married to him. However, he did have insurance, and it was shared with us. With that being said, he had another young lady pregnant when he died. She was pregnant with twins, okay? So before he died, he had 3 kids. Shortly after he died, he had 5 kids, all right? And my heart went out to those children because, they didn't have any protection. No Social Security because he had already passed away. There was no proof that could have been provided to prove he was the father. And the only other way would have been to exhume his body, and they were not going to exhume his body. His family was just not going to do that. So, those children were left, pretty much unprotected. But the first 3, which included my son, they did get something. Now, I'm going to tell you all to try to be smart in a car accident. Fly Aubrey, he died in a car accident. He was 30 years old. But I'm going to tell you all something else. I forgot my train of thought. The money that I did get, I was supposed to just put in a regular savings account for my son, just to sit and gain minimal interest. I did not know I could not move that money from just a simple savings account. So without me knowing I couldn't move it, I put his money in a 529 plan. Now, me putting his money in a 529 doubled the interest he earned. It doubled the money that he had. So when he turned 18, the money he received when his dad died from the insurance policy that his family had on him was doubled. Now, my son didn't want to go to college, so we just took the money out and we, bought him a car and some other things that he wanted to do. And that's when I found out that I was not supposed to move that money. So you all be savvy and be smart with your kids' money. Make sure it's growing for them and it's doing them service, all right, and doing them a justice. Just see what interest or what investment avenue is going to be best and more beneficial for that child. Is it buying them stock? Is it getting them a 529 plan, some type of college savings plan, or whatever the case may be? But yeah, just also, if you do have life insurance on each other, on the other spouse, on the other parent, make sure that everybody knows what's going on. It doesn't make sense to have insurance and the other person doesn't even know it exists. It's just like it doesn't exist. Make sure that the beneficiaries know that they are beneficiaries. Try to have a will and a trust in place, especially if you have young kids. If you do not designate where you want your kids to go, it is not in writing, then you leave it sometimes to the state to decide where your kids are going. You can't leave life insurance to minors. You're going to have to put it in the care of someone that you trust. If their parents are not trustworthy, you need to make sure it's written out where you want that child's money to go from your life insurance benefits. What I did was I created a will and a trust. In my trust, I have it laid out in certain increments for even my older child to get the money in certain increments. I have it written out where my youngest child, which is 2 years old, I have it written out where he is supposed to go if anything were to happen to me and his father. Because naturally, if anything happened to me, he's going to his father, or if something happened to his father, he's going to me. But if something happened to both of us, we have it designated where that child is going. The money that the caretaker is going to get to take care of him and all of that stuff. So I just like to make it easy for people because I know how nasty and I know how messy it can be when people pass away and they don't have things in place. All right. So also bank accounts. If you have a spouse, make sure even if you don't want your spouse on your bank account, make sure you have a POD. A POD is paid on death. Don't just let your bank account just sit there if something happens to you. Make sure it can go on to somebody else without them having to go through court or anything. It's called a POD, paid on death. If anything happens to you, your bank account will go automatically straight to that person. All right. Deeds. If you're married, make sure your other spouse is on the deed if you want them on the deed. If not, y'all work that out however. But, just try to protect the other person as much as you possibly can. And that's pretty much my spiel for the day. I hope that this was helpful. Prepaid tuition. Yeah, that's pretty much like what a 529 is like, or, I think they have one called a Coverdell as well. But yeah, and the good thing about a 529 is if that child does not go to college, and if you can also transfer that money on to someone else, you don't have to use it on that particular child. You can transfer it to another one of your children, or you can transfer it to a child that's not even yours, as far as I believe. Yeah, biggest problem facing Black men. Okay. I disagree. It has nothing to do with my video, so I deleted your disrespectful comment. All right. You did a 529 for both of your sons and one got a scholarship. There you go. Cash it out. That's exactly what we did. We cashed it out. Now with the 529, you got to be careful because you got to make sure that whoever is cashing it out is going to have the best tax benefit. For us, if I cashed it out, it would have been a bigger taxation. So we had our son, which was 18. He didn't have any tax liability, so he cashed it out. It was a better option for him to cash it out versus me cashing it out. So make sure you get the information for that as well. All right. Hi, Selena. How are you today, sweetheart? I want to thank you all for joining in on the live. Let's see. Let's go ahead and remove you because you're not making any sense. I wasn't even talking to you, young lady. You gotta pay attention and follow. You gotta follow along. But anyway, yeah, that's my spiel. If you all have any questions, comments, or concerns for me after this live ends, please leave it. And you all be blessed. Take care of each other. Get your house in order. All right. Be blessed.